All right, we should be live. How's it going, ladies and gents? Welcome to the stream. Project Omnia, welcome. Tetsun, welcome. King Nova, welcome. Hearing a lot of good things about this episode already. I mean, it is what it is. It's Vinland Saga. Season 2 has been incredible. The direction has been spot on. And the story as well has been pretty good. The previous episode definitely ramped up in terms of like the character development, to say the least. Now we were introduced to a new character in Snake. We don't know. Well, it's for me because I'm an anime only, but we don't know like his deal. But we do know that he is a very respectable person. Or, sorry, respected person, to say the least, right? A lot of his goons really respected him as a boss, right? And they, obey him and whatever. But it does seem that he has some principle. We just don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. There's not really a good guy or a bad guy in Vinland Saga, is there? Like, everybody's like in this morally gray area. You know what I mean? So, I'm curious to see, like, what the snake's role in Vinland Season 2 will be, right? Because, like, if you look at Season 1 and you look at Askeladd, for example, right? Askeladd, again, he's not a good person, he's not a bad person, but he's definitely somebody who has, moral principles, and that's what makes him interesting, right? So I'm curious to see, like, who Snake is, his relations, and of course, his dynamic with all of the main cast, especially Thorfinn. Really excited. I'm really excited. Project Omnia says, I prefer the anime medium to the manga medium, so I try to remain anime only whenever possible. I do too. I personally think the anime medium is a... Well, I mean, each medium has their own ups and downs. Like, I can't really say that a manga is worse than an anime or vice versa, because, they're both different mediums, so it's kind of hard to compare the two. But I do personally think that the anime medium, or, the audio-visual medium, to say the least, is my preferred way to experience a story, because there's a lot more going on. There's definitely a lot more going on. You can hear the audio, you can hear the music, you can hear the voice acting, you can see the animation or the movement. It adds more to the scene, right? So I would personally try my best to also stay anime only, unless there's some shows and stories that that I can't really hold off on. Vinland Saga, luckily, has been a show that is incredible in terms of its adaptation from season 1, and I was about to go and read the manga when season 1 was finished. Then they announced season 2, and I'm like, well, okay then, I'm just gonna wait. And so far, season 2 has not disappointed. Yes, there's maybe some hiccups here and there in the animation, not too much so that it detracts my enjoyment. I know for some people, they may go overboard and say, oh, it's bad, it's terrible, they don't have any faces and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but when the direction is this good and the story is this good, it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, it's not bad animation. Like, I've seen worse animation than this, especially ones that revolves around like bad implementation of CG, for example. So Vinland Saga Season 2 so far has been a great experience for me as an anime only. Like, if Vinland Season 1 is a 10 out of 10 in terms of its production, if we're using like that bar, for example, if Season 1 was a 10 out of 10, then Season 2 production-wise is like an 8.5 out of 10. It's not that bad. It's still pretty good. It's still better than most animes, that's for sure. And I'm sure as we move on and as we go forward, I'm sure there's a lot of, really standout episodes in the future. We're still pretty early on. We're still like 4 episodes out of 24? So, yeah. But anyways, that's enough for the intro. I know a lot of you really want to see my reaction, so let's just jump straight into it. If you're watching this live, obviously this is a timer-based reaction, so there's gonna be a timer. So you better have your footage ready, your copy of Vinland Saga, whether it's on Crunchyroll or other means. If you don't like to sync up with a timer, there's always going to be the full picture-in-picture version in the description below once the stream is over, because I have to edit that out first. But it's gonna be there. So, hope you guys have your footage ready, because I'm gonna start a countdown. It's gonna be 5 seconds. And once it hits 0, I press play, you press play, we should all be in sync. And let us enjoy Vinland Saga together. Alright. Vinland Saga, Season 2, Episode 4. The timer starts now. Okay. Love how the background fades in there. I love how we are recapping this, but we're seeing it through, other people's perspective. The way he's stammering and all. Oh, this music in the back is haunting. His nose. Okay. The way they're acting. Heavy. Whoa. That snapped him. Why did I just say in the intro? I was just talking about Askeladd, right? Thorfinn saw the same eyes as Askeladd and Snake. Holy shit. Okay. He smiles. Kind of have the same mannerism as well, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Similar aura that Ashkelot had in season 1, right? When he was angry. And do what? That's the thing, though. He doesn't know what to do. This does tie back to what I was saying before in the previous episode, right? What was his dream? There's only two possibilities that I can think of. One is obviously he was dreaming about his father, and the second one, and I hope this is the right one, he was dreaming of Ashkelot, and more specifically Ashkelot's death. I could be totally wrong, by the way, but I don't know. Like the last time I heard Thorfinn screaming that hard was when Ashkelot was dying, so given that he also got a glimpse of Ashkelot in this episode. Oh, who is this? Every time they do a close up and then you see like how rough they are. Oh, this is Potter. This was the guy that was in the first episode, second episode, was it? That became a free slave, right? That used to be a slave and bought his way out. Oh, what a good. Oh. The church bells, yeah. She's a good person. This calm flute playing in the back is just perfect for the scene. That visualization is great. It's like a father scolding his son. And off he goes. Back to work. Good, good. Follow him. Keep him company. Mm-hmm. No, he is not. Every time they show the lips, just how dry it is. Again. Good, good. Talk to him. Separation between the two. I love that there's no music in the scene. The symbolism of the trees. Oh, that was beautiful. Opening up old wounds. Hmm. A single pole separating them again. Wow, The visual storytelling in this episode has been really, really good. Remembering his village, yeah. Wow, that looks. The lighting in that shot. Oh no. Yeah, he's thinking about the possibility that Thorfinn. Or he's just gonna let out his anger. Putting it all on him. Wow. Kind of speechless here. All the people that he killed. Right? He's having the nightmares again. Wow. I've seen that move before. Okay, that explains it. Yeah, no one's ever touched his hand before. Told him to stop. This episode is incredibly directed, by the way. He has suffered just as much as you, Einar. You gotta remember that. Tell him. Incredible voice acting from both of them. There it is. Gotta realize that. Yeah. Wow. Back to sleep you go. Nice, nice. The difference between oh fuck. I was not expecting to see you. As I was saying, like the difference between the dream and the reality, right? Of the insect not being stepped on. What are you looking at me for? What did I do? What do you surprise Canute cameo at the end there? Holy shit. Wow, what an episode. Yeah. Probably the best episode of season 2 so far. Yeah. And they're gonna hit me with this fucking ending again? Fuck off. Alright, stopping it there. Now I gotta watch the episode preview. Holy shit. Oh god, I was that okay. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Next episode will get so emotional. Bro. Manga readers can just say, like, oh yeah, next episode is gonna get emotional. And then once the episode comes out, oh yeah, next episode is gonna get emotional. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Like it's I mean, season 2 has been hyped up a lot from the manga readers, right? From people who have read the source material and say, you know, like how better it is from season 1, which at the time I was kind of like, how? Season 1 was already a masterpiece in my mind? So how does season 2 step it up? Oh, this is how. This is how. How do you break a man and mend him whole again? Not just one man, not just 2 men, but everybody in this show, every character, right? It's so incredible. It's so good. It's so good. A couple of the visual cues in this episode to me stick out the most. I mean, obviously, yeah, the story, the writing, the dialogue, the character development, and of course the character personal introspection, not just for Thorfinn but for Einar as well. Like both of them thinking about themselves, right, and realizing, you know, like the core problem between the both of them, not just for themselves but for the other person as well. Yeah, that's great. I'll talk about that later because that's probably like the biggest, you know, like that's like the big chunk of the whole episode. But I will say for this specific episode, I think the visual storytelling, the way they utilize the anime medium, the way they utilize the visuals to create a story in and of itself without the need of like full-on exposition, like just the visual storytelling alone has been incredible. I love how even in the beginning of this episode, right? Like sorry, let me mute the audio, but like stuff like changing the background, right? From here, like the background is blue, right? But then of course you transition that back to reality, right, where you see the background in its full detail, and you see this multiple times in this episode. Yeah, I know it's an anime. It's a thing that they do in anime. I know it's not that uncommon. It's always there. But when used effectively, when they utilize this in its fullest potential, it does bring out a lot of impact, right? Like here, for example, again, right, showing the animosity or like the sheer power that is within him, right? Let's visualize that. Let's show how serious he is. Let's show how powerful he is. Let's show how, you know, how actually terrifying he is. Like, how do you convey that, right? I mean, yeah, sure, you can just draw him, you know, like his own facial expression looking at you, and then the background can be like normal, sure. But make the background like this. Suddenly, it becomes a lot more effective. Suddenly, it becomes a lot more, oh, okay. And the fact that we have seen this type of visualization before, right, in Ashkelad in season 1, right, if you remember correctly, right, there's a lot of moments when Ashkelad was like very, very angry and very, you know, murderous to say the least, and we can see like his aura coming out, right? That's the same here. And yeah, no shit, Thorfinn is gonna look at him and gonna get reminded of Ashkelad. Let me see that again. Yeah, that look on his face, Thorfinn just immediately thinking of Ashkelad, transitioning back to the snake. And it was also I think it was like this specific. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. This face, this facial expression that Snake has, and is looking at Thorfinn. You know, this kind of like smug face with his eyebrows and like this small little faint of like smile, like reminds me a lot of Ashklad. It does. It actually does. And then the way he just snaps back to, yep, I had my full. That's pretty much it. Time to go. That was a good fight, Thorfinn. You know, like that is such an Ashklad thing to do. So the fact that not only Thorfinn recognizes him, but the show and the way they visualize him and the way they express his character also resonated with me. That yeah, Thorfinn's right. It does remind me of Ashklad. Great. Like that is the mark of a great direction. Like this is great direction, because sometimes the show needs to like spell it out for you. You know, like, oh yeah, that reminds me of him. That reminds me of that. You know, like the way Thorfinn, again, like the way we see Askeladd's reflection in Thorfinn. Usually, that's pretty much it, right? Usually, that's how they show or how they showcase connections. But here, that's like a genuine connection for me, at least. Like I genuinely felt like there is some similarities between the two, right? It's not that the show is telling me that there is similarities, but I also personally see that there is personality, and that's a good thing. So, moving on from Snake, I'll also mention this because I, sorry, I'm still snotting. Woo, this episode. But I did mention, right, how great the visual storytelling in this episode is. Another thing that I do love about this episode is how much they have a lot of close-up shots, right? A lot of like close-up shots of his fists, of his lips specifically, like a lot of the characters' lips. And we just see how dirty they are, how rough they are, you know, like, because sometimes if you just look at them from like, here, like if you look at Thorfinn here, for example, yeah, you can see like there's some scratches here and there, but it doesn't really convey that much, like, it doesn't convey that much impact until you see like this, right? Until you see like, you close it up, then you see like how much more of those scratches are there, right? Then later on, you see a lot of his lips, right? Not just Thorfinn, but also Einar. If I can find it, that is. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Oh man, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I did mention this in the episode, but I do love the fact that Einar, you know, being, you know, I would assume to be more older than Thorfinn, right? Basically scolding him around and you know, teaching him manners, like, hey, you gotta say thank you. You gotta say arigato. Like, learn your manners, man. Come on. And then you pair that up with with this really, really funny visualization of I'm assuming this is the hedgehog. Right, of like the parent taking the child and the child is feeling really grumpy. I don't know. This is just a fun little visual gag that just works really, really well in context with the scene. Like, this is Thorfinn. I don't know. It's such a really fun little gag that they didn't have to put it in, but the fact that they did put it in kind of reinforces the fact that, yeah, Einar is trying to be like, Einar is in a way kind of a father, not really a father figure, but is filling the role of a father figure. Thorfinn may not necessarily see him as a father figure. He may see him as a best friend. And personally, I do want to see, I do see them as like best friends and not like a father and son relationship. That's kind of like, you know, but it does regardless feel like Einar, at least like the big brother, right? At least filling the role of the big brother, right? Taking care of the little brother. And obviously the little brother is kind of grumpy because of course he is. Oh man. Speaking of hedgehogs, now that I'm thinking about it, it does kind of, I don't want to bring this up because I don't know how much deeper the connection is gonna be, right? Thorfinn and Einar, because again we're only like in episode 4, but seeing the hedgehog in this scene, right, of them representing Einar and Thorfinn, it does kind of remind me a bit of the hedgehog dilemma. If you know, you know. Basically, if you try to get too close to somebody, it'll only hurt them more, right? Because of, you know, they're hedgehogs, they have like their spikes and all. So even if they do want to get together, even if they do want to, you know, slowly become closer, it'll only hurt them more. And I kind of don't want that, even though it can be a possibility. I don't want that in the sense that I don't want Einar and Thorfinn to, you know, to hurt each other. But if that is the case, then it will make their relationship a lot harder to mend, and it will make their relationship all the more precious when they do mend. Because kind of like it's like the impossible task of like becoming friends with somebody that you know you have animosity, especially in regards to Einar, right? Because Einar, again, right, in this episode, literally tries to kill Thorfinn. Okay, let's just talk about that for a bit, shall we? Einar almost tried to kill Thorfinn. Einar realizes, he learns that Thorfinn is, you know, a warrior, quote unquote. And I do find it interesting that Thorfinn does refer to himself as a warrior. That is what Ashkalat told him to be, right? At the end of the first season, right? Become a warrior. Because if anything, Thorfinn would see his past self as not a warrior, because, you know, because of all of the different and conflicting ideologies between, you know, his father, himself, and Ashkalat, and what a warrior is to them by definition. And I do find it interesting that Thorfinn does refer to himself as a warrior in this episode, unless that's a mistranslation, which I think it's not. But it is interesting either way, because that's kind of like showcasing that Thorfinn is embracing the fact that he is one. Maybe not the one that he was hoping to be, or actually maybe it is the type of warrior that he hoped to be, right? Because he doesn't want his father's definition of a warrior to, you know, to take over. But anyways, kind of getting sidetracked here. But Einar, right, strangling Thorfinn in his sleep. Of course, Einar would feel this way. You know, it's a very understandable and a very human response, right? Especially for if you are somebody who just lost your family, right? You just lost your life, right? You just lost your family, you lost your life, and you became a slave because of people like Thorfinn, right? It's that stigma, it's that generalization of, oh, you're a Dane. You used to work for, you know, you used to pillage. You used to, you know, kill a lot of people. You used to go to village to village and you know, and kill and loot and do the R word and whatever, right? And that image immediately, you know, Of course, for Einar, it happened twice. So that image is strong in his mind. And he is looking for somebody to blame. And lucky for him, unlucky for Thorfinn, he found one. Like, you can just see the animosity in his face. Facial expression in this episode has been phenomenal. It's been really, really great. First 3 episodes had really good facial expressions, like some of them are really good and funny and goofy. This episode really showcases, like, you know, like the animosity, the rage that is being pent up inside of him, right? Yeah, looking down at him. He does the unthinkable. Tries to kill him. You did this. This is all your fault. Ear. And then you pair that with Thorfinn's nightmare. We talked about this, right? We were asking, what is he dreaming of? In the beginning, I said maybe he's dreaming of his father, maybe he's dreaming about Ashkelad. And as we go deeper and deeper into this dream, right, as Thorfinn literally goes deeper and deeper into the woods, right, into darkness. Love the visualization of this entire episode again. Symbolism is incredible. He walks out, he sees fire. And man, can I just say, I love the way they animate his foes, his nightmares. Like how haunting it is, how genuinely terrifying it is, and how it's like how do I describe it? Like it feels like it's from another plane, right? It feels like it's from another plane of existence, right? It doesn't match with the stylization of the show, and that's a good thing because it separates, you know, the dream and the reality. And the way it's like, you know, having these like auras coming out of him, you know, like all of these like scratchy unrefinement to it. It is so well done. I love the way they animated this. And you can see like the slow natural progression of this, because Thorfinn here at the start, right when he's fighting this foe, no expression, just another day, another foe, right? It's kind of like an automatic, you know, like trigger in his brain, like, oh, you're an enemy, I'll kill you. And he does. Beautifully animated, by the way. He looks, same face again, same facial expression, more enemies? Okay. You want some of this? Okay. Then he jumps in, he fights, cuts back to Einar. And of course, Einar listening to Thorfinn's dream, right, as it slowly becomes worse and worse. Of course, Einar realizes, of course he realizes his mistake. He mentioned it in the episode. It's not like he did it, right? It's this stigma, once again, right? It's the generalization of like, oh, you were associated with this group, you were associated with that group, so you must be bad. Even though, you know, you don't know that. You don't know that person. You don't know that person. You're just generalizing them, right? Understandable for Einar once again. But still, he realizes that he is having a nightmare once again, right? We established in the previous episode, in episode 3, that Einar was kind of intrigued in what Thorfinn's dream was, because he does show genuine concern. So even now, during this moment, when Einar seemingly turned off his switch and decided to kill Thorfinn, The moment Thorfinn is having a nightmare, the moment he's starting to mumble in his sleep, that side of affection once again takes over. It's that human connection that Einar needed, right? Because Einar, again, right? He mentioned it. He's the one who said it. They are beasts in human skin. Einar looked at Thorfinn. The moment Thorfinn says, yeah, I'm a warrior, I kill many people, I pillage villages, I went to like different armies and stuff. He sees Thorfinn as a beast at that point. When Thorfinn was mentioning this, during this moment, which by the way, great scene by the way, well directed with no audio, no, with the silence and everything. With Thorfinn just minding his own business, chopping down the trees. And Einar's like stern face of like, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. And Thorfinn's just straight up saying like, yeah, I kill people. Yeah, I pillage villages. Yeah, I murder a lot of people. Hundreds. At this point, with the separation of the trees, right? The separation in the middle, right? Because they are ham-fisting this. They're telling you, hey, we're separating the two. Einar does not see Thorfinn the same way as he used to be anymore. He's not seeing him eye to eye. He's seeing him as a beast. He's seeing him as a monster, right? Not a human. The justification that he needed, right? He's thinking about it, right? He's thinking about it. Remembering the fire, remembering the village, his family, and what Thorfinn's kind did. He finally decides to do it, right? This look, half of it covered in shadow, the other half also almost covered in shadow. You can almost barely see his eye. I will kill the monster. But when the monster showcases human emotion, right here, he stops. He realizes. Oh shit. This is a human. Thorfinn is still a human. And so he stops. And as he stops, Thorfinn's dream still continues. And of course, the dream, the image, what Thorfinn saw that made him scream out in terror. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's the old lady that helped him. Back in episode 5 or 6. I think it's episode 6 actually. Yeah, episode 5 was when Thorfinn was fighting Askeladd for the first time when they make landfall, right? Yeah. Episode 4 was when Thors died. Episode 5 was when Thorfinn was going on this journey in the forest, trying to be, trying to man up and fight Askeladd. And then episode 6 happened, and that's when this scene happened. Yeah. It is the old lady. I wasn't expecting this. But thinking about it, I think it makes it makes complete sense. This is the first time in Thorfinn's life, that moment in episode 6, where somebody was helping Thorfinn, right? Somebody was helping Thorfinn. Somebody was giving him care. Somebody was sheltering him. He was being hunted by the English. He asked, like, hey, did you see this person? Do you see like a murderous child with 2 knives running around? He may be blonde. And this old lady says, no, I did not see this child at all. This right here is my son. Leave us alone, please. Right? Showing care and affection. And what Thorfinn did in return was brought hell towards them. Every other character that we see Thorfinn kill, right, throughout season 1 and in this dream as well, are all quote-unquote warriors, soldiers, you know. It's kind of like, yeah, he's killing people, but the people that he's killing is technically, you know, like an enemy soldier who's ready for the job and, you know, who wants to, you know, they've signed up for the job, basically, right? They signed up for the job and they know what they're going into. So if they die, they die, you know? Like, this is an innocent person, right? This is an innocent person that Thorfinn inadvertently kill. And that image haunt him. The image of him looking at her in full disappointment and pure sadness, right? Tears in her eyes. And then soldiers coming in. I still remember this, right? The soldiers coming in and then she's gone. She's vanished. Poof, gone. Don't know what happened to her. But it's mostly symbolic of Thorfinn letting go of his innocence, right? He takes a deep breath and then he continues marching forward to pillage the village. Now, it's come back to haunt him and bite him in the ass. Wakes up, obviously. Einar still sitting, doesn't know what to do. And as Thorfinn is reaching out, right? Love this animation. Love how they did that. And as Thorfinn is reaching out, right? Einar hold his hand. Stop. Enough. It's okay. Paralleling this to the first episode of season 2 when Leif was holding Einar's hand, right? Showing compassion. Showing care. Showing sympathy, right? Hey, don't worry about it. I hope good things happen to you, right? Basically. Same thing here. Einar holding Thorfinn's hand. And again, you gotta remember this. Einar knows Thorfinn more than Thorfinn knows Einar. You gotta remember that. Einar knows Thorfinn because of Leif, right? So this idea of this character, right, in Einar's head, right, this character, this Thorfinn fellow, right, who is a murderer, but he's also a human who is suffering. And he is also somebody that is genuinely cared by other people. Other people are looking for him, right? In Leif, right? Did mention it himself, right? Einar did talk to himself, right, in episode 1. Whoever this Thorfinn person is a lucky person. So him reaching out calming Thorfinn, taking his hand, calming him down. That's enough. Let's go calmly, right? Let's go slowly. And Einar is still conflicted at this point. Einar is still conflicted, right? Do I do this? Do I not do this? I just tried to kill you. No, I'm trying to help you. But this talk between these two of Einar realizing that, hey, it's not really your fault. I'm just lashing out my anger towards you. And of course, hitting him with the, "Do you want to live?" It's kind of weird because I don't know if this is fate or whatever, but every time, but almost every single show and manga that I'm doing on the channel always has a moment where a character tells another character to live. I see it in Fire Punch, I see it in Goodnight Pun Pun. Like every time, it's a character telling another character to live because that other character wants to die. I'm seeing a pattern here, I'm seeing a theme here. Those words that Einar told Thorfinn struck a chord to him. That reached him. That reached Thorfinn, and Thorfinn responds in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. I guess this beautiful friendship of them helping each other, right? Einar helping Thorfinn, showing compassion, showing, hey, I care about you, don't die. Thorfinn also showing compassion. Thank you for waking me up and all that stuff. It's a slow start, but it's the start of a beautiful friendship. I am loving this a lot. And then of course, like I mentioned, that's a grasshopper, right? But the insect, right? In the dream, it was being stepped on. In reality, it escaped. And my god, this shot is so good. Such a good shot. Such a good shot. Ooh. Ooh. We got a teaser of Canute. Woohoo. Oh, and all the crosses, right? All of the people who died. Tying back to the religious aspect of Vinland Saga, right? The belief of Canute trying to make paradise on Earth. The moon ominously being hidden by the clouds. Dark tidings are coming. So, is Canute going to be the bad guy in season 2? Because the separation is Einar and Thorfinn is in a farm. They're farming. It's the quote unquote peaceful life, even though it's not really peaceful. There's a lot of problems and a lot of mishaps, but generally speaking, it is the peaceful life, right? And then you have Canute. You have the other side story of Vinland Saga, and Canute is the one that is bringing war and death and chaos. He's the one who is expanding his empire. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know if the next episode we're gonna be focusing on Canute because this episode we tease Canute, So I am assuming next episode we're gonna be focusing a bit on Canute and see where he is off. And we're gonna get a bit of Thorkel as well. But it is exciting. It is exciting to see Canute once again. Very early on in season 2, by the way. I thought if they were gonna introduce Canute, it'll be later. Like I thought we're gonna be focusing on the beginning portions of season 2, specifically focusing on Einar and Thorfinn. But Canute arriving this early on, we shall see. We shall see. And that's not the face of the Canute that we. Well, it is. It is the face of the Canute that we saw in like the second half of Vinland Saga, right? The first half of Vinland Saga, that's not the Canute that we know. This is like the Canute that we know, but like 10 times more scarier. It's got a beard as well. I mean, it's a Giga Chad. Yeah, that feminine look is gone, right? He has forgone that femininity. He has said goodbye to that. He has grown, he has matured. But has he though? That's the question, right? Physically speaking, he has. But what about inside? What about mentally speaking? Because this is a common theme in Vinland Saga, right? All of these characters, right, from season 1, like I mentioned multiple times in these Vinland reactions and discussion, right? All of these characters have their own problems and their own personality issues, right? Who they are, what they are, right? Because half of their lives are being shackled by a father figure who is controlling their lives, telling them what to do and showing them like the direction in which they need to go. So I am keen, I am excited, and I am interested in seeing how Canute and of course all of these other characters are gonna come into play. It's gonna be exciting. Like I can feel it. If this is how we start season 2 with this slow build up, then I cannot imagine the second half of the season. I cannot. If the first half is like this, then I cannot imagine the second half of the season. Like, how did the crown affect him? Again, like it's the question of like, is Canute going down the same path as his father, his real father, or is he gonna go the other way around and be a more, a more kind leader? I don't see the kind leader in those eyes. That's the eyes of somebody who wants war, especially with all of the graves and everything. Yeah, but it is interesting. It will be interesting to see this. Also, he's not really wearing the crown, is he? He's not really wearing the crown, is he? And let's not forget about his brother, who is also supposed to be in line and in succession to the crown. So yeah. So there's a lot of political warfare going on between Canute and his brother, I'm assuming, right? Because they did mention this in episode 2, I believe. Right? Because they still refer to him as Prince Canute, and not King. So there's definitely a war of succession going on here, like who's supposed to be who, right? And who is supposed to control who, right? Canute is supposed to be controlling like a certain part of England, if I remember correctly, in season 1, right? But his father wanted, the other brother. So yeah, Harold. I think that's pretty much it for my discussion for episode 4. Fantastic episode. Fantastic episode. Starting off really, really strong. I cannot wait to see where the show is gonna go. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. If episode 4 is this emotional, I don't want to know what is gonna happen in the future. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, they ain't kidding. The manga readers were not kidding when they say, you know, like this season is gonna be a lot more character introspection. Like, I was ready for it. I wasn't expecting them to go this hard early on. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really glad that Vinland Saga is getting the adaptation that it deserves. I'll also say that I think episode 4 is the best episode of the season so far. I think it has probably like the best animation, the best visual storytelling, the best direction, great use of voice acting. Like the voice actors have done a stupendous job, and the dialogue has been pretty good. So here's hoping that the next episodes in the future will be just as good, if not better, than this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction and the discussion. Once again, if you wanna discuss more, let me know in the comment section down below. That's pretty much it for me. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope you guys take care of yourself. Live. Have a safe day, everybody. Take care. Bye bye. Peace. And thank you for joining in.